Hello, my name is Veronica Perez Jimenez. I was born and raised in Tijuana, Baja California. I earned my degree of tourism in the University of Baja California. Later on, I moved to the United States and studied some classes in graphic design in order to support my husband's company. Then I pursue my own interest and I just finished my teaching credentials in national and currently I'm finishing my master's degree. In my professional experience, I have taught Spanish for 9 years in a small charter school where I teach students from kindergarten through sixth grade. I love to build community in my school where I created the curriculum and enrich it. I was able to create festivals like Dia de los Muertos, art, and also Mexican folkloric dance. Regarding my research is going to be focused on what schools are doing to utilize the first language of English language learners as a bridge for a second language. This research will show the multiple benefits that an English learner can acquire by enriching their first language. Furthermore, it will show the role that the first language plays in the acquisition in the second language. This research is also going to touch on strategies that have been implemented in the classrooms and also in districts. The reasons for this investigation are based in personal experience and professional experience. Personal experience because both of my children were in mainstream classrooms and they didn't have support in their first language. And professional experience because I have seen many teachers that they lack of experience of helping students enrich their first language or utilizing the structure of the first language in order to help the acquisition of the second language. My research question is, does creating activities and strategies in the primary language help the English language learner with the second language acquisition? And my secondary research question is, what are the positive outcomes of supporting English language learners in the first language? Okay, topic research. English language learners in the US. The fast pace of our growing English language learner students in the US brings different approaches to teaching in schools. The English language learner student population in the United States public schools are growing each year. Around 5 million students registered in 2016. According to Brookings in the Brown Center chalkboard, the US immigrant population has doubled since 1990. This has impacted the composition of the United States schools. The rise of English language learners population requires different types of interventions and instructions in order to help English language learners to make the transition to mainstream classrooms. First language structure. The second language learning children bring to the classroom a wealth of knowledge in their first language, such as grammar, vocabulary, native accent, communicative competence at the age appropriate level. Teachers should assess and be aware of students' knowledge and skills of the primary language and build on this competence. According to Professor Kyoko, most of the children arrive in schools speaking and understanding their primary language. That's why it's so important and now a trending to encourage bilingualism, and dual language instructions. Students that are encouraged to have two languages at an early age will develop many skills that a monolingual student may not acquire. The Encyclopedia of Early Childhood Development, 2016, states that studies have demonstrated that bilingual children get better grades than monolingual in cognitive tests, including mental, flexibility, creativity, while resolving problems, knowing the roots of the words, and distinguish different areas of semantics. In addition, the English language learner culture and identity plays an important role in the English learner life. According to the Merriam-Webster, identity is the set of qualities and beliefs that make one person or group different from others. Language is part of a person's identity. Therefore, by conserving the first language, the English language learner is preserving their identity, and this will help the student to strengthen their self-perception. After mentioning several advantages and understanding that our ELs students come to a classroom with a wide knowledge of language instruction, the research points to numerous advantages in understanding that English language learners bring to the classroom to include their primary language, identity, and culture. The first step a teacher has to model is to become an advocate for the English language student. In order for an educator to serve as an advocate for the English language learner in their classroom and in their schools, they must become open to the notion that everyone in the school is responsible for the success of an English language learner. Banner 2014. Upload the video by the teacher supporting the student in all areas of the language is helping them by using different strategies. In order to teach English language learners, teachers should be aware of the language domains that involve learning language. The domains consist of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Miller Soto 2017. Some teachers fail to teach these domains and focus only on the reading and writing and ignore the most important domains, which are listening and speaking. Therefore, teachers may need to plan their lessons using the 4 different domains, utilizing teaching strategies such as universal design of learning. All these topics that were addressed in the research, the English language learners in the U.S., the structure of the first language, and encouraging bilingualism, and conserving the culture and identity of the English learner, the teacher role in the instructional resources to support English learners is some of the articles that are supporting my research. Passing to the methodology of my research, first I'm going to talk about my research approach. This case study will be a mixture of qualitative and quantitative research. The qualitative aspect of this research will be a case study that will be conducted in a mainstream 5th grade class of 24 students, 13 of whom are English language students. This study will be conducted with 4 English language learners with different levels of English proficiency according to the proficiency levels descriptors for California English Language Development Standards, emerging, standing, and bridging. These students are going to be provided with a Spanish translation of the course curriculum in a written form and supported with classroom strategies where they use their first language to bridge to English. At the end of the school year, A quantitative portion of this research will be conducted by comparing this group with other English language learners who did not have the support of curriculum in their native language. The result of the English Language Proficiency Assessment for California LPAC and California Assessment of Students' Performance and Progress CASP test scores will be used to compare the two groups of difference to determine if the intervention was effective in raising scores and improving language acquisitions. Now, talking about negotiations, permissions, and networks, our study is going to be held in a small charter school that is at the same time its own district. For this reason, the first step will be to have the permission from the director of the charter school to conduct the case study. Since the director serves as a principal of the school and the superintendent of the same school district, this is only going to be one permission. Consequently, the next steps will be to have the permission of the fifth grade teacher in the class where the study is going to be conducted. It will be necessary to have permissions from the families or tutors or students involved in the research. Finally, in order to have all the information, the researcher will need to work together with the research specialist from the school side, since this is the person in charge of administrating tests and collecting data from each student in the school. Our timeline in this case study is really important to have enough time to create data and realistic measurements of the results. Therefore, the boundaries of the case study are going to be limited to one school year. I will start at the beginning of the school year 2019 in August and will finish in June 2020. This period of times provide time to have a realistic formal information. The data collection plan will start with the information of students 2018-2019 LPAC, a Spanish language proficiency assessment, LAS, Español, and the CASP. These three test data will illustrate the levels of English, Spanish, and English content of the student. The LPAC is going to measure the level of English comprehension of the English learner in the four domains of the language as listening, speaking, reading, and writing for Spanish speaker students. The LAS Español will provide proficiency of Spanish in this case. In the four language domain as well, the CASP is going to show the progress of each student in different subjects. This test score will need to be collected from the previous year of the case study for the present school year, in order to be able to analyze the results of the study and compare them from the previous year, the beginning of the year, and the end of the year assessments. The quantitative research is going to be held by individuals' interviews and feedback from students, parents, and the fifth grade teacher. The data analysis and interpretation will be the results of the 2019 and 2020 LPAC and the CASP for the English language in this case study versus the English language learners that did not have support in the primary language. The research analysis and interpretation of quantitative part of the case study are going to be supported by a third party. This is going to be analyzed by the resource specialist and the researcher. The quantitative investigations are going to be compared and studied in order to verify and support of if the support of the first language of student help to increase their English knowledge and check the performance of the student participation in the case study, made an improvement in their test scores of the exams mentioned in the data collection plan. The quantitative part of the case study will be analyzed by the researcher in order to have information about the experience of the research. The outcome that this study wants to pursue is to prove that utilizing the first language as a resource that will help the English language transfer to English. After the data analysis, the study will yield information that will demonstrate if the students that participated in the study were able to perform better in their formal test and hopefully being reclassified as an English profession student. In addition, students are going to perform better in the CASP. The students' results are going to be compared to English language learner students that did not have the support in their primary language. Then, after comparing the data, the results are going to support or not if utilizing the primary language as a bridge to the second language was helpful. In this research, the human resources had been an important or have played an important role for me. First, I worked with only one critical friend, and we were able to provide feedback to each other and guide us in our projects. The library in National University was able to show me and share different strategies to research books in the library, online, and also in Google Scholar. Finally, most important, the Writing Center has been for me a great support in these last two courses. They have provided me feedback, they had guided me in different ways of understanding the APA format and verifying that I'm completing all the requirements for each paper. Finally, if I had the opportunity to go back and tell myself, I will say to utilize the resources that the school provides. There were many writing courses that I let them pass by, and other resources that were there, and I didn't utilize them until the end almost of my courses. And the second one is reaching out for help. I was good doing that with my teachers, but I was afraid to share my work to peers or to other people. Then finally, I was brave enough to use the Writing Center, which was one of the best decisions that I could have done regarding of my studies. They have helped me even to be more confident about my work, and also they have guided me and provide me many tools that I will use not only for the courses but for the rest of my life.